ICCCon 2022 Saturday here with a man that's from the Death Star 2 to Exegol, the great Mike Quinn. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. It really is. My goodness, what a great weekend it's been.
Right?
Absolutely.
Seriously. This has been just one of the best cons that I've been to, I think, almost ever. It's been an amazing turnout, especially for today.
And not only that, but it seems everybody that comes here really cares about it all, and they're really enthusiastic. It's really nice to see, you know, everyone's been so kind, and they just really care about what we do. It's
Absolutely.
It's refreshing. It really is nice.
The con for fans, as we like to call it, and Michael Havens does not disappoint.
No, absolutely. How wonderful. So it's a real treat. I'm so pleased I was able to come. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. I want to clarify something before we get into our questions. Can you give us the correct pronunciation of your character's name?
Yes, I can.
We have a debate of which one.
We have a debate.
We have a debate of which one it is. That's why we wanted
Okay, well, let's see.
to end our debate.
What do you say it is?
You go first. I say 9 nub.
I said Neon Nub.
Nub. Is that what you say? And you say
9 nub.
nub. You're both wrong. So
see, this is why we needed the clarification.
Because we're both like, I'm telling you, it's 9 nub. He's like, no, it's nin. I'm like, we'll just get it from Mike.
The thing is, his name was never mentioned officially anywhere until very recently, and so even JJ wouldn't know how to say it. He's like, nim num, come here. But it's nobody's fault because it was never said. However, it is now pronounced in the Rise of the Resistance ride, where Lieutenant Beck says his name, and it is in fact, drum roll please, 9 num.
9 num.
So I was almost there.
Nearly there, but you still weren't there. No,
that's true. Man,
close but no cigar. And the reason being, when they had he was just a background alien. So when they brought all the characters and masks over to the UK from California, he was just on a list, and he was literally number 9 on the list, and so he was called number 9 for a while. And then when George pulled him forward to be in the Falcon cockpit, then he became 9 num, and then they changed the spelling a bit more for the toys and stuff. So he's 9 num as in number 9. Simple as that.
I'm sorry, you're no background character considering that you've defeated the Emperor twice.
Twice, well.
So alongside Lando Calrissian.
To be a thorn in the Emperor's side is a badge of honor as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Touche.
So, being in the Star Wars universe and being such a pivotal character in the Star Wars universe, can you give us a little story about when you were filming in these movies? That
starting with the first set of 3. And
set of 3. Let's see.
No, just get it down to one. I think we only have time for
a long time ago in a galaxy far, far.
There you go.
There we go.
There are so many though. I mean, just usually stupid stuff like when an embarrassing I was like, because how old was I on that? I was 17, I think, when I made Return of the Jedi. So it was my 3rd film. And, I was being a big fan of the first 2 movies, being on the set of the final trilogy and watching it unfold in front of my eyes was super exciting, of course. And, there's Harrison Ford as Han Solo coming out of carbonite. And I was down, I think, I might have been helping with the tentacle in the dungeon when he comes out, and the tentacle wraps around 3PO. I think I must have been down there for that. And the little corridor that they had outside the dungeons there was a trench in the bottom of the floor, which like a gutter that was filled with water, And I remember it was first thing in the morning, and Harrison steps out, and I kind of stepped back and said, "Hi, Mr. Ford," as I stepped into this drain, this gutter of old water, and it filled up my training shoe, and I thought, I wonder if he noticed. Hope he didn't see that. I'm still cool. But he either saw it and was gracious enough to not laugh his head off at me, or he didn't notice. I'm not quite sure. But no, there's just so many crazy, silly little things like that.
So when you puppeteer, because you did both, you did the acting and some of the puppeteering.
Yeah.
Which one did you prefer or like more? Were you like more like being 9 nub, or were you like, oh man, I just love puppeteering?
You said his name wrong, by the way.
9 num.
I said num. I played Star Wars for a long time.
Once it's in there, that's it. You know what though? they're all the same thing to me. They're all different aspects of the same thing. It's like, usually it's the most recent thing is what I like the most because it's freshest in my memory, you know. So that's usually how I look at things. So like, for example, the last Nine Numb stuff I did was in the costume, in the mask, where I could actually look through his eyes so I could see as he would see, and I had legs so I could finally walk around and run around and fall over a lot and all that kind of stuff. So that was nice to be, you know, I could be more included in the, instead of being under a table with my arm in the air and not being able to travel as well. You know, I can actually rehearse with the head off, and I'm just in amongst the actors doing the whole thing. There's something wonderful about that and freeing, you know.
Yeah.
So I know in Return of the Jedi there was a short speaking and laughing part.
Yeah.
Is that your voice?
Originally it was, but we knew it would be replaced by something they didn't know what they wanted yet. Same with Jabba and a lot of those characters.
Yeah.
We'd speak in English, knowing that they would figure it out later.
Right.
That was definitely something they didn't know what they wanted yet, but they wanted something alien. So I spoke in English, and you know, it wasn't really written out, so I wrote my dialogue with what it needed to make sense. You know, I needed to know how to get the emotion in there and to help Billy D with his reactions, because his stuff was scripted. So I could figure out from his answers what I might be saying. So I literally wrote my own dialogue, ran it by George Lucas, and he approved it. And that's what we did on the day of the shoots. There were no rehearsals or anything for it.
The mask,
the
helmet, between Return of the Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Were both animatronic where somebody else was controlling? I know the first one was, but the second one, with technology being what it is now, I didn't know if they had something would attack.
No, well, the first one, in Return of the Jedi, it was literally like a Muppet, essentially.
Right, somebody's controlling the eyes and the...
No, almost. I mean, you know, my hand was inside the mouth, just like working like a Muppet, open and close. And my right hand was in his hand, working the steering yoke, and his left hand was stuffed because I'm left-handed, so my left hand was in the face. And then the animatronics, he had eye blinks, upper lids, and then ear wiggles, and it was very crude. They added that later, you know, once he became a proper character.
Right.
So they were just like a bicycle brake cable. Back then, so I had Tim Rose and Simon Williamson doing my ear wiggles and eye blinks for me, and that was it. Okay,
how many characters it takes to bring one character, or how many people, takes to bring one character to life.
And so in the new version, you know, he had all this extra movement with all these micro servos where he could scrunch his eyebrows and squish his cheeks and all the different mouth shapes and things he could make. That was all one puppeteer outside working radio control.
Okay.
But so it was like a totally different technology in a way, and he could do so much more with less people and have more expression, you know.
Yeah. Did you think after Return of the Jedi that you would ever be able to come back and return as that character?
No, because, I mean, I remember at the time, you know, they talked about doing 9 films, and then George said he didn't want to do any more, and I thought, one day they will do that other trilogy. It won't be George directing or anything, I'm sure. But I was thinking, maybe someone like, I don't know, Ron Howard would be really good to direct a Star Wars film.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to wait 30-odd years. But, you know, you can't see that far ahead. You know, you do the job and you move on to other things. And Star Wars kind of goes quiet for a while until the prequels got made. And I wanted to work him in that as well, but it never happened. So when I heard about the final trilogy, I actually wrote to JJ and said, hey, remember me? I can still do this. I'm still available.
How did you feel when you got the call? Like, he's like, yeah, I want to bring Nine Numb back.
I was like, finally. It's about time. Hello.
Yes!
It was more like relief and like, okay, good. Now, because the thought of someone else doing that would have been an odd feeling for me. And they didn't have to use me. They could have used anyone they wanted. Right. You know, so I'm really appreciative and grateful that they wanted to get people like Tim Rose and myself back and the original voices too for those characters as legacy characters, which is a wonderful thing that they did for us.
And you got to sit beside Billy D. Williams again.
Yeah. Well, we got to hang out again. Yeah, we sure did. Yeah, it's always good to see Billy D. You know, we get on really well. He's always been really, really kind to me.
I like that they mimicked that same scene from Return of the Jedi in Rise of Skywalker that both of you were.
And there was more that we were
it's
going.
It's almost like a buddy comedy kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, I would have.
I don't ride
The
without
script
him.
changed a lot from the beginning of the shoot. There was going to be more stuff, and I even had an exchange with 3PO at one point.
Oh, wow.
And they were going to put Aftab, Akbar, and Nine Num in the gun turrets in the Falcon. At one
that
point.
would've
So I was all excited to do that, and then that changed.
Oh man, that would have been so cool. That would have been
Right.
so nostalgic.
So that was like the original. Yeah, I think when we started shooting, that was the plan anyway. So yeah, but hey, I just had a great time.
Well, let me ask you this, because I'm a big Dark Crystal fan.
Oh,
As
nice.
my brother is too.
I'm a Dark Big Crystal fan.
Yeah, yeah.
That doesn't even make sense.
So being on that set, what was it like being on that set? Being that everything was sized down and everything was like puppeteering.
Yeah,
It's like,
it's
what kind
all
of set
puppets.
then?
It was quite scary in a way because we were doing something new. These were like the first animatronic puppets, costume characters really ever. It was before E.T. We had Yoda in Empire Strikes Back, and that was sort of the first, to me, reference point for an animatronic puppet. But that was it. So we had to invent how these things walked and blinked and turned their heads and moved, and how we worked together with a cable crew for the face. It was quite scary, because these were like big costumes that we had to wear, and I think the longest I was in mine was like 4 hours or something, and it got pretty hot, and they were heavy. So, but the sets were beautiful, the props and the costumes, and it was such a. I learned so much from my very first film was Great Muppet Caper, so I learned all the basics of Muppet techniques and film techniques there. Then Dark Crystal was the second, so I learned animatronics, like a whole other level again. And then the third film was Return of the Jedi, where I got to do all these other creatures. And then it was downhill from there. So the last 35 years has really been downhill for me since then. No, I learned everything. Everything I learned in those first three films, I'm still using that information now, that knowledge in my career now. So it was a very special time.
So, like, how long did it take to film a scene, being that you're working with something that could potentially screw up and then you have to fix?
Yeah, with creatures and puppets, like, for example, when it was a Henson project, it was always puppets first, and people second. So they knew how to structure a shoot and a set around that. But on the bigger films, you'd be lucky to get maybe, I don't know, 30 seconds a day, sometimes maybe less, sometimes,
Wow.
It depends on the like on Little Shop of Horrors, for example. I worked on that Frank Oz directed, and on the animatronic plant. And there was one shot that I think it took like 2 days to get this one shot.
Wow.
So it just depends,
You would think from a viewer standpoint, when you see a scene like that, you're like, oh man, they must have like shot that. It was done and out, and it was. Kind of like
seconds.
Oh, we got it in one take. We're good, guys. We're good.
Well, that happens to like my close-up in the last movie was one take, and that was a pickup, I think, or a reshoot or something like that.
Really?
So that literally was one take. So that happens as well. No rehearsal. You're like, okay.
Just like, hey, do this for me, okay?
Yeah, and that was it. It was like the end of the day, we got 30 seconds, roll film, do it, and that's what's in the film. But then things like Little Shop of Horrors, we rehearsed for months and months on the lip sync and getting, miming to the track and getting it. So it's all in muscle memory, both ends of the spectrum really occur.
Oh, that's mind blowing if you think about it. That you literally work on something months, and it's just a little thing that just happens in a film that you're like, oh, they probably just did it, took 10 minutes and then moved on to, like, that wouldn't be the hardest thing.
Yeah, but it pays off sometimes. Like in Labyrinth, there's a scene where Sir Didymus is, the main character, Sarah wants to cross the bridge, and there's that little fox character.
Oh, yeah.
And he won't let her cross, So I was doing the radio control eye on him, eye and eyelid. And Dave Goals was doing the hand puppetry, and then we had someone else doing the tail and the eyebrows on radio control, and I think the other hand. So we had about four or five of us working this one character. And we rehearsed that scene for like a week. Just that way he's thinking. She says, well, may I pass? And he's like, well, and he does all these moves and things, and it's all perfectly timed. And then he says, yes? And then she goes across. And we nailed it. We got it so that we could reproduce that every time on every take from every angle, because we just tuned into each other. We spent a week just working on this one scene, and that's what's in the film. And it's like we're all together on it. When it works, it's a beautiful thing.
So when you get to rehearse that stuff, do you guys just come in on your own time, or do they say, hey, take that home, or do you, it's only...
Yeah, it's all scheduled.
I didn't know
into
if you had like...
Yeah, you know,
you just get the moves down, and then you get to get on the equipment and...
Sometimes, I mean, usually they build it into the production, so you go into the workshop or whatever, and they set up video cameras and that sort of thing, and you just work away.
So
you know,
if
the
they're
whole
not
day.
shooting, they're like, go rehearse.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Do as many times as you want.
As much as you rehearsal as you can get without breaking the puppet. That's what that's what you want to do.
Just don't break that.
Yeah, don't
piece.
rehearse it too much, because you know you're going to wear it out. So.
All right. Well, we're very honored that you sat with us. You were making Ashley's inner child smile over there.
Very
And
good.
I just got educated on puppeteering that I never thought before.
Yeah.
Right, that's your outer child, isn't it?
Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
For all those that are watching at home, ICCC 2022 is Saturday. Will you be here tomorrow?
I will be here tomorrow.
He will be here tomorrow, and they still have open spots for signatures, autographs. Come get in line,
Photo
get his
ops.
signatures.
Say hello, give us a wave.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good vibe here. So, yeah, if you're thinking about it, come on down.
Absolutely. Still a little bit of day left. There's a whole nother day left. Come on down. We'll see you this weekend. Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you so much. May the
Thank
force
you.
be with you.
And with you.
Hey.
This summer, saddle up in Smashville as the Music City hosts the hottest party of the summer, WWE SummerSlam Nashville. For the first time ever at Nissan Stadium, a little bit country, a little bit rock and roll, a whole lot of kick-ass. WWE SummerSlam, Saturday, July 30th. Tickets on sale now.